Shabbat Shalom.
Let's try that again. There we go. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to everybody. We have a lot of people visiting from all over the world tonight.
wow.
So welcome you guys who are here from Argentina, Buenos Aires, Shabbat Shalom, Buenos Aires, and everybody else who's visiting. I'm Rabbi Jessica Graff, joined by Cantor Toby Glaser. We welcome you here to, as I said, the most beautiful synagogue in the United States of America. You picked a really good one. So say hello to the people around you. Just give them like a little hello, a little elbow bump or whatever. I'll just ask if there are people here for the very first time. You don't have to, but if you want to just introduce yourself, we'd love to be able to wave to you. So if you've never, ever been here before, and you want to introduce yourself, give us your name, we would love to meet you. Please. We just stand and like yell into the dome. They all look like this. No, not. They don't all look like this. Welcome. So happy to have you. And Alex, you've been here. You've been here. Yes. Okay, great. Good. Do you live nearby? Well, but in the city. I mean, closer than our Argentine friends over here. Yes. Cool. Oh my gosh. We'll have to look at the wall downstairs, see if we can find you. That's awesome. Welcome. Anybody else who's visiting for the very first time? Who are you? Welcome. That's okay. You're still welcome here.
Okay.
Awesome. Do you guys live in San Francisco? Oh, and who are you? Very nice. Welcome. We're so happy to have you. Awesome. Great. Welcome. Anybody else want to out themselves? Okay. Well, all right. Hopefully you'll be brave to introduce yourselves as we go along. We're a friendly bunch. So I'd like to invite Judy Wexler, the president of our board, to share some words of welcome from the Bima as well.
Taking off the mask sometimes is really a production when you have glasses and you have hearing aids and everything wants to
Earrings and
earrings and hair, and it all gets very complicated. So I'm always so happy to come up here and look out at all of you and be able to welcome everybody on behalf of the Board of Trustees. One of my touchstones when I come into this amazing space is to look at the Moses window. And the thought of our ancestors in this congregation so loving the landscape of California, that they put the promised land in California, is really, it has a lot of meaning for me. And in these days where I know I'm thinking a lot about climate change, as I've been putting on multiple sweaters because it's been so cold at my house, because it has been so broiling hot every place else. And I know amongst the people here are part of, like Nancy Sheftel-Gomes, who's leading our, one of the leaders of our climate initiative, that we have congregants who are really active in figuring out what we can do to help preserve that that very special environment. And so, in welcoming all of you, I also want to say thank you to all of the people in this congregation who are doing important work in the name of Sherith Israel, and doing work that maintains the values that are so fundamental to this congregation and to our lives as Reformed Jews. So Shabbat Shalom, and also thank you.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Judy mentioned, for those of you who are visiting, the Moses window, as we like to call it. It's a very famous window. It's the true story of Moses receiving the 10 Commandments under Half Dome in Yosemite. I'd like to invite Jerry Hurwitz. Are we going to invite Susan too? Come
Sure.
on, Susan. Dr. Susan Borkin is going to join Jerry up here. And I think, did you just have a birthday? No, doesn't Jerry have a birthday? 80? 80? Amazing. Jerry's going to be 80 years young tomorrow, and in honor of this important occasion, Jerry and Susan are going to help us to welcome Shabbat with the lighting of the candles.
First time, huh? What a pro. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom, happy birthday, Ad Me'av Isrim, to 120 in good health in our congregation. 100, we'll revisit at 120 to both of you guys. We'll continue welcoming the angels of Shabbat by turning to page 20 as we sing Shabbat in with Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. lecha דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם התפארת ולתהילה. lecha דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. lecha דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. lecha דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. lecha דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שדברי, כבוד אדוני אלייך נגלה. lecha דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. lecha דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. lecha דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. lecha דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה.
We remain standing and turn to page 28 for Baruch Hu.
Yai dai dai yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai yai dai 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 dai. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai dai dai yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai yai dai 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 dai.
Page 30. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the season, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name, ever-living God. May you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 32. Never remove your love from us, Adonai. Praise to you who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Israel.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו וקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו נגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We read together at the top of page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלף, נורא תהילות אוסף אלף, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ידי די די ידי די 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 Yada dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai. ונאמר כי פדרנה את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Page 42. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up our guardian to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Ve'ha'amidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us daily wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
We ask God to give us peace and shelter us with wholeness and with health. We turn to page 253 for Misha Berach as we pray for those in our lives and in our community who are in need of a refuah shlema, a complete and speedy healing.
Berach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
We pray for the healing of Tzur Miriam Bat Chana Moshe, Jim Blattner, Bob Fonero, William Kurian, Agnes Rothblatt, Shel Wolf, Loie Tolson, and those whom you mention now. May God bring healing to all those who are in our prayers.
Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We take just a moment to prepare ourselves, each of us, for our own Amidah. Standing together, we still call out individually. So when you feel like you've set your intention for this part of our service, please turn to page 46 and stand with your community.
Ya-da-da-da-da, 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 ya-da-da-da-da. Adonai sefatai tiftach Ufi agir tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Yada-da-da-da, 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 yada-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da, yada-da-da-da, yada-da-da-da. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך? מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל. ואמרו אמן, ואמרו אמן, ואמרו אמן, ואמרו אמן.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
In the last couple of weeks, I've been thinking a lot about how the situation in our country, sort of world events, reflect this week's Torah portion. And I sat down to write this a few days ago. Some of it was printed in the J. Did anybody read the Torah column in the J today? Awesome! Then this is going to be new for everybody. If you want to read it again, you can find it in the J online. The women stood in protest. They were angry. Society's laws were unjust, denying them autonomy. Where is our freedom? Where is our right to control our own lives? They demanded. Ruled by the laws of men, the women were not allowed to live with dignity and self-respect. It was time for a change, time to ensure that each person would be treated justly. The daughters of Tzelophehad, Machla, Noah, Hogla, Milcah, and Tirzah came forward. They explained that the system of inheritance that was in place denied them personal freedom. As women, they could not collect inheritance from their father's estate. Because of the existing laws of inheritance, women were prevented from living autonomously. They brought their case to Moses, Eleazar, the chieftains, and the entire congregation. The men heard the pleas of these women. Perhaps the men were allies and upstanders. Perhaps they felt empathy and understanding, or at least sympathy, as they listened to the women describe unjust laws. Moses took the case to Adonai. God responded with clarity, instructing that the laws must be changed. The women speak justly, God declared in response. In this profound moment, God insisted that laws must support and sustain the autonomy of all people equally in society. The injustice had to be corrected. What an important moment in our people's history. From ancient days, the Torah championed a semblance of equality that didn't exist in other ancient societies. Our sacred stories were way ahead of their time. It is hard to imagine a better story of women's empowerment, early feminism, and progressive legislation than the one we read this week about 5 women who stood up to the ancient patriarchy. And the most important part is, without a moment of hesitation, God supports them. Though this story took place many, many generations ago, we have not eradicated inequalities and injustices that existed way back then. Despite all the years that have passed since the Israelites wandered in the desert, we have not built a society that guarantees dignity for each person. In fact, the recent Supreme Court decision denying access to abortion directly goes against what the 5 sisters were asking for: a right to self-governance. Fast forward thousands of years to 21st century America, our society is looking more and more like the one where Zelophehad's daughters had no personal autonomy and no control over their own futures. Surely, if God were to weigh in on the current news, God would say, "Those who demand dignity for all speak justly." Our courageous ancestors, Machla, Noah, Hogla, Milcah, and Tirzah, inspire us today. Just as they ultimately inherited what belonged to their ancestors, we inherit what belonged to them: the vision of a more just world. Their vision changed their ancient society. It emboldens us to change ours. We will work to secure the freedom and autonomy each human being deserves. After all, that promise has been the inheritance of generations of our people. That's what I wrote that was published in the J. And I've been thinking a lot about that as I've been reading articles over this last week, many people commenting on the similarity of the plea, the plight of Zelophehad's daughters some thousands of years ago. I was very interested to find an article in Newsweek written by Rabbi Lauren Holtzblatt. I don't know if any of you saw that article. It's entitled, "God is More Committed to Gender Equality Than We Are." She refers to God standing up for the daughters of Zelophehad and demanding that, in fact, they spoke justly. Laws had to be changed to allow them autonomy. And she says at the beginning that when she became a rabbi, she knew that her job would be to struggle, to wrestle with a nearly 6,000-year-old tradition that had some work to do. She wrote, "The Supreme Court chose to rely on laws of a political system that excluded women. But now we have the power to organize, vote, and lead. I have seen and helped bring about the modernization of a far more ancient legal system, Judaism. I know it can be done," Rabbi Holtzblatt wrote. "Just as God commanded Moses to treat the daughters of Zelophehad equally, we too can make this change." It's inspiring and painful to think about the injustices which existed way back when and continue to exist today. Haven't we made any progress? As a society, as humans, we should have eradicated these problems by now, arriving at a society which supports and honors and respects the autonomy of each person. But we haven't. As humans, we continue to struggle to build a world, a society that affords those freedoms and that respect to each person. But how powerful to look back and read this particular story from Parshat Pinchas, the story that we read this week, and to recognize that the desire of the 5 daughters of Zelophehad was the same as the desire that we have today, to create a world where everybody gets to choose how she or he or they will live, a place where we can decide what our own lives will actually look like. And I love what Rabbi Holtzblatt wrote, the optimism and hope that her article sends out to us, recognizing that if Judaism can change, not only Judaism, if God's response can be recognizing what needs to change, if Judaism over these thousands of years of development can change to create a more just society, think of what we might be able to do. The hope, the power remains with us to organize, vote, and lead to make our society what we want it to be. We're not there yet. I looked at the poem that our young poet laureate, Amanda Gorman, wrote just recently, commenting on the ongoing pain in our society. And I thought that her words inspired the same kind of hope that Rabbi Holtzblatt commands us to find somewhere. Amanda Gorman wrote, "Everything hurts. It's a hard time to be alive and even harder to stay that way. We're burdened to live out these days while at the same time blessed to outlive them. May we not just grieve but give. May we not just ache but act. Maybe everything hurts, our hearts shadowed and strange, but only when everything hurts may everything change. We live in this moment of great challenge, and yet great opportunity remains there for us to change our world. We link arms with the ancient instigators who were noted, mentioned, held up in this Torah portion. These 5 women, our own ancestors, continue to inspire change. They are linked to our modern instigators. Amanda Gorman is a direct descendant of the daughters of Tzilofachad. We humans who live today and recognize injustice, like the daughters of Tzilofachad, speak out too and demand with every fiber of our beings equality for us and for each person. We link ourselves to them, demanding a better world, a more just world that will bring to life the vision that they so beautifully laid out in this Torah portion as the Israelites wandered in the desert some thousands of years ago. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We'll continue our service with Shehechianu, even in these moments of pain and imperfection. We recognize that there are so many wonderful things to celebrate. So to Jerry, a very happy birthday, and I'm sure we have many more simchas, people here in this space. Please, Ruth. Yay! Mazel tov. All right. That's wonderful. Mazel tov. Yes, Peter. That's not a simcha for us. That's a simcha for you, maybe. Peter's going on an incredible musical journey, right? Through Turkey and parts of Europe. And is it, 5 weeks? Something like that. Have an awesome, awesome trip and come home soon. We look forward to seeing you back here in Nesiat Tova. Other simchas, happy occasions. Alex. All right. Happy birthday tomorrow. You and Jerry are birthday buddies. You guys will have to meet afterwards. Happy birthday. Any other wonderful things to report? Anybody doing anything? Well, for our opportunity to be back in this sanctuary together, that is a great simcha. I would say we are happy to be alive and navigating a crazy world together. So we stand and join with the cantors. We thank God for giving us life and sustaining us and enabling us to reach this day.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Amen.
We remain standing and turn to page 282 for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. We turn to page 293. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. If you are observing Shiva or Shloshim, the first 7 or 30 days of mourning, please stand and share a loved one's name with us. If you're observing the first year of mourning, please stand and share a name with us. Please remain standing. We remember also in this first year of mourning our Rabbi Emeritus, Rabbi Marty Wiener. The Perpetual Memorials in our congregation are Shoshana Chana Asher, Judy Migdale, Joseph Sattler, Harold Weiss. The Yahrzeit anniversaries on this Shabbat are Nancy Bluestein, Pauline Weisman Davis, Dr. Leo Falk, Morris Flanzer, Stephanie Kornblatt Fromer, Eva Gold, Eliyahu Ben Shlomo Grabowski, Henri Jaffé, Sarah Kagan, Beverly Little, Gertrude Mainzer, Esther Israel Pincus, Alice B. Popkin, Helen M. Schukert, Inez Georgette Weissman, Ella Wexler. Are there others whom we remember on this Yahrzeit? Please stand and share a name.
William Glaser.
Zichronam livracha, may the memory of all of the righteous who brought us here tonight be a blessing. We stand with our mourners and turn to page 294 for Kaddish Yatom. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba, ve'alma divrach yirtei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabba mavorach le'olam u'amei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha brichum. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, Damiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to mourners everywhere. And we say together, amen. Please be seated. Just a couple of announcements. Tomorrow morning, please join me on Zoom, me and Zach on Zoom for Torah study. Other things going on. We've been having this wonderful literary salon series. If you missed the first 2, they were recorded, and you can hear my interview with Aaron Gordon and with David Perlstein. this coming Wednesday night, 7:30 to 8:45. Gordon will be interviewing Steve Wasserman, who wrote a beautiful personal family history about his family's journey from the Holocaust to freedom. And the following Wednesday night, Dr. Susan Borkin will be our special guest. Unfortunately, I am out of town for this interview. Gordon will be interviewing Susan. And actually, each of the books that we get to learn about and each of the authors has written something extremely different. So the first two were fiction. Now upcoming is a personal family biography. And then really interesting and different workshop on journaling and using journaling for personal reflection. Personal growth. Yes, personal growth. And then two more wonderful ones after that. So stay tuned. Join us on Wednesdays. Oh, and there is one Wednesday when we will not be talking about books, but we will be sitting together cheering on the San Francisco Giants at Jewish Heritage Night. The, 17th? Thank you, August 17th. So save your Wednesday nights for Congregation Sherith Israel. I am supposed to tell you that the operatic Havdalah that was scheduled for the end of July has been postponed because our wonderful guest musician has COVID. So we wish him well and look forward to being able to reschedule that as soon as he is back to good health. And tonight's Oneg is sponsored by the Borkin Hurwitz family in honor of Jerry's birthday. So please join us following services in the, I always get this wrong, the Feldman, I believe, foyer. Yes, the Feldman foyer, which is just outside these doors for, I'm just going to call it the Marty foyer because then I'll never get it wrong again. The Feldman foyer for a beautiful celebration. You can hug Jerry. And then, Jerry, I'll give you some hand sanitizer. And you can. Any other?
Yeah, just a couple of things. Our Tot Shabbat is on Friday, August 5th at 5 p.m. downstairs. We're going to have all kinds of fun activities. On the 6th, on that Shabbat, we have our wine tasting Yap event. So if you are 20s and 30s-ish, please join us as we hit Napa for the afternoon. And on the 10th of August, we have, the 13th of August, we have our second Shabbat in the park, which will be at Alta Plaza Park for young families, children under 6. Please join us there. We're going to do a Shabbat in the park with some celebration and music and some different activities there as well.
Awesome. Lots of fun stuff to do. So let's keep hanging out. Love it. We will conclude our service with Kiddush and Motzi. Please stand as we join with the cantor on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit. כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim. And our challah this evening is a beautiful Molly Stone special. And let's raise our challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, המוציא לחם מן הארץ, B'te'avon. Amen. B'te'avon. Shabbat shalom.
We will conclude our
It's well aged.
service. Pre-pandemic. It's a pre-pandemic.
Oh dear.
Page 343 with Oseh Shalom.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Amen. Yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.